I will.
Public participation first,
Oh, sorry.
which is outside the meeting. So I don't, Sam, you can introduce the public participation if you like. And we go through the 3 points.
Yes, have we got any members of the public joining us that we know of?
Not at this point. No, we haven't got anyone joining us at the moment.
Megan sent her apologies for not being able to join us, but she's working obviously in a pub. You can't really join a Zoom meeting.
We're core with 5.
Indeed.
That's right.
Then. So you've got your report from Wiltshire Council, Jane Davies, which I've not had apologies or anything from her on.
Okay.
And then you've got the community police officer, Melissa, and Camilleri, and I've not had anything from her either. And then I've not had any further comments. So we're right there. So what I would then open up to say is that I have received apologies from the chairman, Andrew Tuckey, and that brings us right into the formal meeting of needing to formalize the meeting by putting forward a motion for a new chairman and somebody.
So is this for us to suggest strong arming Sam into the position for today, in preparation for when he takes over from Andrew at some point in the future?
Yes, please. I just need a proposal for somebody, yes, and a seconder.
Super. All right. So there's a proposal.
I would second that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I think it's unanimous. We just need Rachel to stick a hand up and then everybody's in for it.
Double-handed.
When are you due to take over permanently, Sam?
A big pardon?
When are you due to take over permanently?
Andrew said that he would stand down. When he stands down as a chair, he will then stand down as a councillor at the same time. But we don't want to have 2 vacancies on the council. So as soon as we find another councillor, strong arm them.
Yeah, have we not got Nick and Mark lined up or not?
So Nick is and Andrew are meeting. At some stage.
Is this Nick, what about Nick halfway up the hill?
Nick Burnett, and then
Burnett,
Mark, and then Mark Bevan.
Mark is,
he's still
he hasn't been entirely keen.
I think he'd be very good.
He said he would do it. He would do it if we need him, I think.
He's always got good ideas in the pub.
Yeah. Nick, I don't know very well, but he might.
Interestingly enough, my next door neighbour, she asked about it the other day as well. She'd be very good too.
Yeah. Great. Good to get another woman.
Yeah, it would be. Sorry, Elizabeth.
No, that's all right. Can I just add something? If you co-opt now, which is fine, then that co-option lasts until next year, May 21. And then everybody then will, assuming, this is speaking right now for this moment with COVID, the elections are due to be May 21 next year. And so then your parish would go through another election process. So I think that it's important that you understand the nuances of that, because as you're co-opting at the moment, that doesn't go beyond May 21.
But if we have fewer councillors than there are
fewer,
then we don't have an election, do we?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So we've gone through all the proper election process to co-op in between, but the actual election time for you all is next year. And so then the whole council will have to resit election again. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the same people will get in or out. It's just be aware of that when you're speaking to people and telling them that we've got some vacancies. At the moment, those are vacancies that only will sit until next year. Yeah. Okay. And now that could change, as I said, that could change because we were supposed to have elections this year for the police commissioner, and due to COVID, all that has been moved. So that could change.
Okay.
Carry on. Go on. You can carry on now, Sam.
Right, so I'm doing this now, am I?
Yeah. Number one, you're on number one. Sorry, apologies.
Receive and approve apologies for absence. We've received apologies from Andrew.
Andrew Tuckey, yes.
Megan.
Item 2, declarations of interest in applications.
Yeah, me.
Yep.
I have interest in one of the planning applications.
Okay, we will ignore you at that point.
Thank you.
And I just interject for members of the public. At that point in time, Councillor Sanderson will be put on into the into a different
The abyss.
Yes, the abyss, and not be a part of that discussion. So just for the formality of the meeting.
Minutes of the previous meeting to confirm as a true record.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have a proposer and a seconder?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chairman's announcements.
This is your big. This is your
Yeah.
big slot, Sam.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well,
Go big.
I hope Andrew's coming back for the time being, but we'll see. Yes, I have no particular announcements to make, apart from thank you for letting me be chairman for the moment. Planning, item 5. Old Police House.
Time for me to disappear.
So this is where I will be formally asking Councillor Sanderson to step out. So he's out. So go ahead, and we can go ahead and consider our response for application 2007-085 full.
I have no objection to this. I think it looks like a
No.
useful
I have no objection.
improvement.
No
Okay.
objections.
Okay, we can pass that on to the council, to Wiltshire.
Bring him back. Hang on a moment.
As long as we tell him we're objecting.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. You got to get that beer.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
Fair enough. Okay.
Bucklefields, application 2006255.
Okay, so I will
We have
send you some information, Elizabeth, so that you can write to the council.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you and I will be in touch. When's it got to go in?
Let me just double
Really, tomorrow.
check. Hang on. I just need to look at my form. Give me 1 second. It was for the 9th of September, but I've got 2 days extension on it.
Okay. All right. I'll send you a plan, but it is a rough sketch, but just an explanation and other comments then.
Okay.
All right.
and the third application we have is for Jubbs Lane to install a modern oil tank. I have no objections to that.
No, same. No objections.
No.
No
No
objections.
objections.
And we note the still outstanding application for Dragon House and the following decisions for, not for Applegarth, but for, which is the Grange, isn't it? Approved
Yeah.
with conditions.
Yeah.
Were we going to write to about that? As mentioning that we don't want them to, we want them to make sure that it's not further developed in the future.
I will go
Further
ahead.
developed without any application.
Yes.
Is that done already, Elizabeth? I think.
I will double check that, and I will come back to you. I haven't looked at that this evening, but I will double check. I think I did that, but I'll make sure.
Yeah.
And the application of new driveways on the top road that we approved last time. Item 6, the clerk's report.
So for me, just briefly, I have begun my accreditation for SILCA. I started on the 1st of September. that's just as information. The second thing, chasing the autumn parish steward for schedule. I have written to them asking for the autumn schedule to be posted, but I've just been told that they haven't got it yet. But as soon as I get it, I will release it to you, and that we know then when you're going to have your steward in the village. The other thing is I do have some national planning to send out on a consultation that is going to Parliament. So I will make sure that you see there's 3 documents. One's a 1-page document and a PowerPoint, and then just the white paper. I highly recommend that you have a look in your free time, just to familiarize yourself with some of the key points that are being highlighted here, because they could have a massive impact on what planning looks like for you as a council going forward. But I'm also very available to you, and we can talk about, questions that you may have. I'm happy to go in and find out if you've got queries along certain points. But I will send those out. Those came in yesterday, and I will send those out. I've also sent an email for counselor training. It's something that we talked about last year. We haven't undertaken that yet. It would be counselor training for all the councils that I represent, but also it would be virtual, and I think actually quite useful to everyone, even if it's refresher. So that's in hand, and I'll be coming back to you all about that. The other thing I wanted to mention was just the fencing and the trees at the playground. It's been a bit long-winded to get it finished. There's been a few issues of getting things in as far as balancing between COVID and then the contractor that we employed or we contracted with. He had a couple of folks with him that actually had COVID, so he had to do a little bit of returning to work in a different manner. There is a shortage of concrete in this country due to COVID, and we have voted as a council to have concrete posts. The only thing that I could say that might speed things up for everything might be to, as a council, decide that you would prefer to go through the route of having wooden posts. And if you'd like to do that, I'm happy to change sort of what we've asked for. It would not require a vote because it's a cheaper option than what we voted for anyway, but it might actually expedite the work. On the other side of the coin for that, he is trying to get his team organized to come in, remove the trees, take out all the posts or the trunks at the same time, and then put the posts and the fence in all in one go so that the neighbors are not without a fence line. So it just depends. I wanted to put that out there just in case, the spec of and the scope of the work needed to change.
So in terms of the posts, if they were wooden posts,
Yes.
or, what's the lifetime of these wooden posts? That's the thing that would concern me. If they're you can get posts that are treated with all sorts of things for everlasting, and but that would be my question: is how long would the post last?
20 to 30 years.
20 to 30 years.
Yes.
That sounds all right.
Yeah. Concrete posts obviously would go a long way. One of the things that I considered when I was speaking to him is if we were doing a fence line that was, I can't remember the term, I'm sorry. You had the posts, you could just lift in the fence panels. That was concrete. So that's sort of the upshot of having the concrete posts. But if you think about it the other way around, 25 to 30 years is pretty good. But
25 to 30 years, do you have to treat them and maintain them every couple of years? No, not at all.
No.
All right.
Treated and no.
And so what did you say the lead time is on concrete?
Well, he wrote to me yesterday saying that he called his supplier and they're still having an issue getting them, and he would contact me within the next 10 days and let me know what they said.
So why don't we
Yeah.
leave that for 10 days and then see what he says. If it's going to be months, then maybe we make a decision to go for the wooden ones just to get it done.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I just wanted to put it out there. We are getting a little bit of discontent in the village because it's not happening that
Yeah.
quickly. And I am trying to. Will is a good contractor. I've worked with him on several projects. He is a good contractor, and he does exactly what he says he'll do. So I trust him, and I want to maintain that as long as we can. But I also do understand from the parish's point of view, we need to get on with it and get it done. So other than that, I don't have anything more.
Yeah. Yes. No, I agree. I think if it can be done, if he comes back and says he has no idea when he can get concrete posts, or he knows he's not going to get them for a long time, then yes, we should go for timber. But if he comes back and says, I know I can get them in a month, or next week, then stick to concrete.
We wait for concrete, I think. Yeah.
Elizabeth, do we need to put something in the Dragon about it?
We certainly could. I can write a little something up, absolutely, and put it in to Ruth. So
Might be an idea if there are people bouncing around a bit about it. It might be an idea to talk to them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sure.
to let people know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Anything else from the clerk's report?
No, that's me. I'm done.
Item 7, to discuss and agree the next steps regarding the speeding restrictions within the village. Bob, you've been looking at this.
I have indeed. It's moved on a bit from my report. I think if I can just summarise the report that was done by a professional in 2012 and set out various actions, nothing was acted on. So we're really back to square one. And if it seems to me that there are 3 areas, one is the lower high street, one is the school area, and the other one is the Marlborough Road. If I can choose the easy one first, the lower high street, I think he made a relevant point that the bends at the bottom of the high street do tend to restrict sensible drivers to 20 miles an hour. And I don't think people going up the high street go much more than about 20 miles an hour. When you come down, because it's quite a steep hill, you tend to roll down at about 25 miles an hour. Now, what I've established from Andrew Jack is that if we have a metro count, the metro count is free. And contrary to what I think I said in my report, there's a counterintuitive thought here that if the speeding is around about 24, 25 miles an hour, then they are more likely to give you a 20 miles an hour speed limit. It's counterintuitive because I assume that if it was higher than that, they would want to reduce it. But in fact, if it's already around about 24 miles an hour, which will show up on a metro count, then they are likely then to give you a 20 miles an hour limit. So my recommendation, therefore, as it's free, is to go forward with a metro count somewhere in the lower high street, position to be agreed, but so that we check the speed at that point. So I would have thought somewhere around about Eldie's house, I would have thought, maybe just a bit higher, nearer the school maybe. So
How long does it sit there for, Bob?
sorry? I don't know how long it's there for, to be honest. I haven't asked that question. Sorry, Will, can't give you the answer to that.
I think you definitely want to have it on some sort of incline slope. So as in, yeah, it sort of flattens up near the school, and as in, yeah. Just a little bit further down. So as people are going down the hill,
they get faster.
or up the hill.
Yeah.
You'll get
And
faster
if that
traffic
makes
outside. You'll get faster traffic outside Aldi's or the old rectory.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway,
obviously there's parked cars there which tend to slow things down anyway, but
yeah,
I think it would make the residents feel happier if there was a 20-mile-an-hour limit coming into the village, and that perhaps, well, that went on and past the school, but that's obviously there for a discussion. The next area he discussed was really parking around the school, and I'm not sure that we can do anything. Rachel, I picked up your comment earlier in an email. I think he's got it wrong that the parish, the land behind the village hall, was ever allowed to be parking.
That was the original car park for the village hall.
Was it?
According to my mother, it was originally it was originally the car park for the village hall.
It makes sense, doesn't it? When you look at the layout, it makes sense for the cars to park there, and then we could have put the playground on that field. But
yeah, okay.
Do you think how few cars there would have been when the village hall was built?
Yeah.
They would have, whoever drove to the village hall would easily have fitted in the back there, probably.
Yeah. Okay. The third area is the Marlborough Road. When I was talking to Richard Nollible about the footpath, they mentioned that when they got planning permission for the new farm building, that there was a planning condition that the 30-mile-an-hour limit should be moved away from the village, further away, and up the hill, so because otherwise vehicles would be travelling too fast past their entrance, and that has never been done. So that, number one, I think we should be trying. Well, I need to contact the engineer to start getting some progress on that, to get that 30-mile-an-hour move.
Did Richard say whether he had documentation that said that? Because that would help.
I assume I was going to ask Oliver if he's got the planning approval. I'm sure he has. Being a solicitor, I can't believe that he's a solicitor.
Do they still have? They have historic planning applications on the Wiltshire website, don't they?
They would do. I'm sure we could go on that.
If it's a formal condition of planning, then surely Highways would have to act on it.
Again, I would have thought so, and I don't know. But Richard's
a left-hand, right-hand situation.
Yeah, Richard's normally fairly solid on that sort of thing. So I was going to follow that through. We are allowed to have more than one metro count free of charge, as long as they are in obviously different areas. So we could have another metro count on the Marlborough Road. So,
I think I was going to ask if that was possible.
Yeah. Now, coming back to my earlier point, is obviously cars that will be coming down the hill are likely to be doing over 30 mile an hour. Andrew Jack makes the point that we shouldn't have it near the actual 30 mile an hour limit, because people only start to slow down at the 30 mile an hour limit. They don't slow down in preparation for it, and I think we all do that. So we need it a good distance past the 30 mile an hour limit. So I would have thought somewhere around about the bridge, or the pub areas, but maybe do they slow down for that area?
No.
So
except I mean, you're right, Sam, there are often parked cars outside the window, but they're slamming on their brakes as they get to that, as they get to those parked cars, which is normally Megan's car outside the window. But so I think you're probably right, Bob. One of those metro cams, either just this side of the bridge, will catch people going at their maximum speed still.
But of course, if I'm reading the regulations correctly, then if they are doing, let's say, 35 miles an hour, they wouldn't want to reduce it down to 20. They wouldn't change it from the 30 that it is already.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
If traffic's flowing at 35 miles an hour, then it's too fast to have a 20 limit on it.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you try for a third metro count on the other side, outside Bucklersfield, that sort of area, to assess how fast people are coming into the village from the Marlborough end.
I've been overtaken on that bit so many times by
Really?
people getting impatient.
Have you?
Yeah.
I think it's people also get accelerating out of the village along there. That's,
Exactly.
So that could be another position for a metro count. So if you would like me to do it, I'll follow up those various positions. I'll chat with the people who are in the know with you all before I actually send it off. But or I'll send an email around highlighting a position. But would you like me to take that forward?
Definitely.
Yeah,
very good.
The other thing that the 2012 report said was that the gates coming into the village are currently wood, and they should be painted to have more effect. They should be painted white.
Yeah.
So,
that shows how observant I am. I must admit, I thought they were white.
Other villages have white ones. We have, I think, ours are timber, aren't they?
Oh wow.
I think the ones in Drake at Foliat are really good.
Oh yeah, those are. They stand out, don't they?
They're white.
Yeah.
Whereas I think ours just look like flower pots. No, they look pretty, but they don't do very much, I don't think.
No.
Got some spare white wood stain in the garage. Maybe I'll go and paint them.
They to that point, they do have flower pots in front of them, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're still missing a 30-mile-an-hour sign on the right as you come into the village from Marlborough.
Yeah, from Marlborough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
was the one that Jacob took out, wasn't it?
Yes, but it's never been replaced.
No.
Although, excuse me, there's a house on the left. If you're coming into the village, there's a house on the left now, which has a small 30-mile-an-hour repeater roundel on it. It looks like an official one set into the road there. I noticed it for the first time a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Which way?
You're coming into the village from Marlborough.
Yeah, on the left.
On the left, after you've come into the village, it must be, there's a few houses in, there's one of the small 30-mile-an-hour repeaters there.
Is that just an informal one, you think?
Well, it looks like a real one.
Okay.
But
I did not notice that.
So we shouldn't we shouldn't have repeaters because we have streetlights. So I don't know if it's an informal one that someone's just put up, but it looks quite official.
I wanted to make the point that Bob was talking about in that report about the parking and it being illegal, but residents not wanting the lines on the road. Just seems a bit strange to me.
Well, you shouldn't need lines because, yeah, it is illegal. It's in the highway code. You mustn't park10 meters or something of a junction.
But people clearly don't know that in this village.
No. Well, they don't know that anyway.
Or they ignore it.
Or they ignore it, yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing that if I lived in one of the houses up there, I would want to park my car outside rather than park it along the road and have to walk. And
do they have space around the back?
If I
the ones no, because if you go into St George's Close, they're all parked there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, no, I think you might be right, Sam. Don't they? They have garages around the back there too, don't they?
Possibly. But yeah, it's. I mean, I'm sure the police have got better things to do these days. But if they are consistently parking illegally, then we should either.
How many people?
Well, I mean, I think we did talk about this some time ago, and I think I just wonder whether this is something else we could stick in the Dragon as just a kindly reminder, and appreciate that it's difficult for people who live in these houses, but please could you remember the highway code that you're not allowed to park so that close to a junction. Maybe a gentle thing in the Dragon would stimulate some thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think buses and lorries do have a problem turning around.
Yeah.
turning right in towards Marlborough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, good idea. I mean, I think it would be better to do it personally as a low-key sort of way, rather than try and initially be heavy-handed on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'll take things forward on that.
And maybe actually, maybe that you could combine that. Sorry, Elizabeth, I'm thinking about you when you're writing this. We could maybe say, look, the parish council are thinking of doing a speed awareness thing in the village, and because we're very conscious that people do speed through this village. So please, could people also at the same time think about that parking opposite the junction?
Yeah, it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Tie the two together.
Yes.
And I think, Bob, all your points about signage as well, we need to look at all that in that area, because the all through traffic sign is totally lost, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was there at all until you sent that picture of it. I was like, there's no sign there, but yeah, it turns out there is.
I think that whole signage, and I remember when the Ridgeway National Trail lady did a walk of our village, she said, you really need to look at your signage in that area because it's not clear to visitors.
No, that's what Richard Eilish said. He said people just turn left all the time, and then do a 3-point turn, either in their drive or around by the slip road, which is,
I mean, there needs to be a sign as you drive up the high street, where in front of you by that T junction, saying right Marlborough, left Ogbourne.
Yeah. The trouble with that is you've got parked cars in the way.
Yes. Can't go anywhere.
I agree.
Presumably things like actual chicanes on entry, like they have at Baden on the top road there, would be hugely expensive. Where you'd have to give way to traffic leaving the village.
I think so, probably, yeah.
There was something about those rumble strips or whatever they're called, not rumble strips, in your report, Bob, that said it was quite noisy for neighbours, for residents in that area. You put lines across the road. I wonder if those chicanes would be the same.
I'm wondering also whether chicanes are very effective, but whether they are suitable for farm vehicles, etc. I don't know. It's something that something that can be explored, I think. Where were you thinking of having those?
On entry and exit to the village as you come through from Marlborough or Ogbourne.
Okay.
I mean, I think the speeding, people coming through there at 40 or 50 miles an hour or 35 miles an hour is the problem, is as I see it, a bigger problem than people doing 25 miles an hour down here.
I agree.
Well,
I would agree, but then I suppose, having seen yourself and Georgie Bevan over the years walk up and down there with your children, I can understand that it's probably quite scary at times, even at 20 miles an hour.
It is, although I personally feel that the people who are going to do 25 or 30 where 20 would be safe will still do that anyway. I mean, I don't feel, you get odd cars driving fast, but I don't, walking up and down there twice a day to school, I don't see a huge speeding problem up there. I don't feel.
I think it's the point always that the highways engineer makes, that people will drive at the speed that they feel safe, they can safely drive, irrespective of the speed limit.
Yeah, speed limits don't change speeds, I don't think.
No, I think there's an element of truth in that. I think it would make, if we could manage to get, if we had a metro count and we could manage to get a 20 mile an hour limit on the high street, I think it would keep the residents happy and contented and feel that we're doing something. But of course, if we have a metro,
the actual speeds people drive at.
That's another. That's another problem.
Yeah.
But the other problem, of course, is that if you have a metro count, that's just step one. You've then got to have the formal survey, which is £2,500, and we are expected to pay 25% of that. So if we felt that if we were in the right ballpark in terms of feeding, we could, when we felt confident we could go ahead, then I think we would have to pay that 25% of 2,500.
Yeah.
Well, let's do the metro count thing to start with, and then we can go from there. Yeah.
Right. I will do that. Well, I'll do that, and I'll put some things on the emails to you all, so that you know where I'm thinking of putting them.
Yeah, we can work out where's best.
Okay.
Excellent. Anything else on that?
No.
Item 8. To discuss and agree steps for the provision of dog waste bins.
Okay. Well, we talked about it earlier. I mean, if we did have, well, have you got a price, Elizabeth, for or competitive prices?
Yes, yes, I do. Well, competitive. I've got two additional quotes that I've put into the paperwork. Yes, indeed, and I can bring those up for you. I put them in box. One from Grist Waste and one from Hills. Sorry, I'm just finding it. Just a second. So Hill's quote. Firstly, Grist doesn't sell the bins, so we'd have to buy those separately. They only quoted for emptying. The dry non, so from Hills, the 2 bins, as you can see on the quote.
So there's a £16 delivery collection charge.
Yeah.
Every week.
Wasn't the other one about £3?
Yes. Yeah.
£3 seems more reasonable than 16.
Yeah.
Too right.
So that's sorted. Yeah.
See, 10. Well, regardless. So you got the quote you got was, hang on, £10 per bin and £20 per bin liner.
20p.
20p per bin liner. What is a bin liner actually? You'll have to tell me, Bob, what that actually means in Oh, sorry, not you, Chris. I don't know what the bin liner means. I spoke to them. This one's been hard for me to get. I went online, and then they called me, and then I didn't get anything for 2 weeks. I'm not sure what a bin liner means.
It's a rubbish bag. Rubbish bag.
Plastic bag
You
inside.
put it inside a bin.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, is it for this type of waste? Is it actually the same thing? That's why.
Yeah, it'll just be exactly the same thing.
Is
But I can't see anywhere that it tells you how frequently they empty the bins.
No,
and
I asked on this one, could it be every week? And if not, could they give me a second quote for just like a 3-year contract? Well, they've only done a portion of it. So,
I mean, the advantage of the one that I gave you initially is the fact that they pick up a bin by the bus stop in Ogbourne St George already. And if we did have the bin by the bridge, they literally are just driving along the road a touch further, and so
is that saying that's £10 per week? So if they picked it up every week, it would be £10 per week.
was it £10? Was it £10 or £3?
£10 delivery, and then 20p for the liner.
Does it
So
need to be every week?
No,
That's I don't think it does either.
£10 per bin. So if you've got 2 bins in the same area, they would do an initial charge of £10, but then they would actually, the bin liner would be 20p. So yes, 10.20 per week per bin.
That's fair.
Does it need to be every week? Can we not do it every 2 weeks or every month?
Yeah, exactly.
It can be ad hoc. I think that's an overarching price they've given us. So if you need it every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, that's what they would charge you for that particular service. That's their standard cost. But again, then you'd have to buy the bins from someone else first, which I have not priced out. So,
but the price that I gave you, I sent through to you from the people who collect at the moment. It's a lot cheaper than that, isn't it?
it is, yes. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
they can provide the bin and install the bin and then collect every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you have that price handy?
I'm pulling it up. Yeah, I've got the email.
£3.50.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So, well,
Let's go with them.
£144 plus VAT for the bin.
yes. The other question was whether we wanted one that with on a concrete, but on a concrete base on a pole, so that it can't be moved, or whether we have one that is just sitting there like an ordinary bin.
Yeah, I just think just sitting there like an ordinary bin. It doesn't. Yeah, I think so.
I would, not that I'm just putting my 2 cents in here, I would actually recommend for the council to consider actually having it on something that's more static, that it can't be moved.
Yeah.
Do you think people will nick it?
No, but I just have to say, going back to a conversation about the bus stops, I don't know what they would do, but I would.
I think a fixed one on a post would be.
I think fixed one that could be emptied, that can't be easily tampered with, is probably in the best. I think you have a lot more maintenance on the other one.
So my using your phrase, my 2 pence worth would be, we should get this done as quickly as we can, and then therefore let's just go for a bin, as you say, that is fixed, and just agree a time frame that we think we should get it emptied, and go for the cheapest emptying option, which is that £3.50 piece, isn't it?
Yeah, sounds good.
Because I think it does really annoy lots of people everybody in the village really, with the whole dog poo thing. So it'd be really good to get something done quickly about it.
Can I just ask, not being a dog walker, did you generally agree with that route that I put on an email for people walking a loop?
Yeah.
You did? That one?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but I think people people do a lot more than that in terms of walking their dogs. But I think that is a start and end to most people's dog walking walks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, it would be the best position in a way would be at the junction. If you follow the line up between position 1 and position 2, on that corner there at the end of the footpath, where it goes on then to Chiseldom, but they wouldn't collect it by walking down the and that would mean they'd have to drive down that path.
Yeah.
So okay, what I need to do is to contact the person who is responsible for on behalf of Wiltshire Council to approve the position, and she would want to come out here and have a look at it, at that position. So I'll do that, and I'll meet her out here as soon as I can, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right.
We're thinking of 1 bin or 2 bins? 1. Or
2.
So is the 2 in those 2 positions?
I think so. Personally, I do agree with you, Rachel. I think 2 bins would be.
Let's just do it. It doesn't seem very expensive.
It's just I think
the more the merrier.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So on Jubbs Lane, obviously, I see I'm looking at the pictures you sent round, Bob. So is that the little bit of ground you were thinking of between the garage and the car parking?
That's correct. Yeah. Which
And
is,
it couldn't go.
I'm conscious of the fact that if someone's got to put a foundation in there, they're going to have to remove curbstones.
And is there any point going back to the eye-lifts and talking about Will's point about putting it on a fence on that entrance?
I specifically raised that. I said, look, why can't we just put it here and tuck it away? It's right. It's in no one's way there. It's not in your way for farm traffic when you're going into the field. They just didn't want it there.
But if it's on the verge, is that who owns verges?
Well, the impression I get is that where that position is, that footpath that I've shown you, or that the garages, I think that the public road ends there, or maybe ends at the end of the garages.
So that last bit of road up to where the
is private, I think.
might be worth looking into that.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
impression I got, is that from beyond the electricity pole, it belongs to the Islets.
Can I
Really?
ask that we just pull? Can I ask that I have a chance to just pull or go to land registry and have a look for some title deeds and to see what that actually says and do a little bit of digging on that for
Yeah.
conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Good
Yeah.
idea.
Okay.
But I think we're all pretty much in agreement that let's get something done as quickly as we can. Obviously,
Yeah.
after checking those bits first, but let's try and get something done and erected before the next parish council meeting, and then people see some progress.
Can I just say well done, Bob,
Yeah, well done,
Yeah,
definitely.
taking
That's
this
right.
on,
Well done,
especially
Bob.
as a non-dog owner.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, I don't relieve myself either in the bit. So.
yeah. We'll
You'll
come to
go
that in a
heaven,
minute.
Bob. You'll go to
Yeah.
heaven.
Like that, we won't need a sign in the footpath, or should we have a sign to remind people as well? Do you think?
I would.
Yeah.
You know, your friend produced those 30-mile-an-hour signs or 50-mile-an-hour signs, Rachel. Could you think she could do a sign like that? That's all sealed that we could just put on a post?
Well, those aren't laminated. I mean, she is a printer, so yes, she could do something if we wanted her to.
Or do we know somebody else who could do it?
Sorry, do which sign? I missed it.
Well, we just need a sign to say, I'm guessing something like, please be courteous to other users of the footpath. And there are now two bins available for, dog waste. Please use them.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, it's something that parish councils can get their hands on, isn't it? Stop signs about poo bins or not?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can.
Okay. I'll wait for you to come back to me on that, Elizabeth, then, all right? Just on the ownership of the road.
Again.
I'll wait for you to come back to me on the ownership of the road.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
Item number 9, finance. Exciting stuff.
Really?
Well, I'm assuming you've all had a look at the documentation I put up. The first thing on 9A was just to take note of the National Salary Award that has just been recently put out, essentially against my pay, increasing it from 977 to 1004. And so that's for information for you to receive. And that will go through Charlton Baker to have an official change. There's no need for you to adopt that because you've adopted it by way of adopting my contract and hiring me. So it's really just for information for you.
So it changes naturally, does it? Automatically?
Yes, it does. On a national level, they negotiate the salary change per the increments, and then they do all the negotiation, then they roll them out officially signed by unions and the official bodies.
All right. Yep.
Then the next thing is to receive information on disbursements made since the last meeting. So one of the things I will just say, I did circulate a document. There is an item that's been paid in that I am following up on because I have not to date found anything in the archives about this. It has something to do with a planning application back from 2017 that has got a SIL notice on it, and it changed from being a potting shed into an accommodation, and so we've been given money for £72.19 into our account. And so I'm just following up on what that is, and when I have more of an explanation for why and what that applies to. I have not found anything in the 17 application that refers to the SIL agreement. Excuse me?
What is a SIL?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
It's a community infrastructure levy.
Okay.
And I'm happy
We're
to.
none the wiser, are we?
Yeah, no, it is quite convoluted, and usually it goes back to a planning application that's been agreed and has things to do with overage, and it's normally paid by the person that is putting in the application for planning. So I'm actually just typing in what it is. You can have a look at it, but I'll send you a link as well. By the way, don't familiar. I'm not really sure how to guide you too much right now. The SIL infrastructure, the community infrastructure levy, is looking to potentially change, and that's one of the things that central government is looking at sort of launching and changing. Understand what it is on the face of it, but I wouldn't dive too deeply into it. So, but for purposes of this agenda item, we have been given £72.19, and I'm trying to articulate to you all what that actually is.
£72.19. That's enough as I need to know.
Yeah.
It's quite. It'll pay for a couple of our bins being emptied.
Yeah. The one-off payment. Sometimes these bills can be 3 payments of the same amount. It just depends on the agreement put in place at the time of the planning application. So I will come back to you on that, but it is something that we have received and you'll be signing off of. You've had your normal 1-in-1 internet of £1.20 come out, and then information ICO, the information commissioning document for the ICO membership for £35. That's come out since we last met. Your grass cutting agreement, so that's come out. 2 payments equaling $352.54. Conservation. Pardon?
Did they cut the church? Do we pay for the church cutting?
Yes, that is in fact, yes.
Okay.
When are they? What's their schedule? When are they next due a cut?
That's a very good question, and I've been after them for some time to give me even the foggiest details of the 3-year contract that you're on. It does run out at financial year end next year, so I asked right before lockdown for the details of what they're supposed to be cutting and how many times, what their schedule is, and the director said he would send that to me, and I've not received it. I've chased it up twice. So
their approach to the cutting of the churchyard, I believe, is quite lackadaisical.
Yeah, I'm getting that impression, and I would, at this point, my gut feeling, and I'll look at it obviously with more of a business eye come time, I think we need to be looking around for contracting. But that's the rolling one that we've committed to at the moment. We've paid initial tree payment of $1,226.40.
Can I just digress there, just as a thought that came into my head about that Bowden's grass cutting thing and getting someone else. I can't remember, what's the name of the guy that drives around in that little tractor?
Frank.
Yeah. I bet you if we paid him, he would do it much more frequently and more thoroughly. And would he be able to get into the churchyard with that, to do that?
No, I think that's for topping fields.
All right, okay. All right, he probably, okay. Well, he I don't know. It's just a thought.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I would agree with your sentiments, though, Will. I can't say that I'm 100% happy with what I see them do. You know, either around the village hall or other areas.
Yeah.
We've talked about this for months, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think,
let's
it's a recurring problem.
I think you do a lot better job for a lot less money. So
it might be worth us.
Contract either, Elizabeth. If they're not getting back to you, they clearly are not that keen to continue.
No, they strike me as a wide-ranging company that sees us as a small contract, and maybe that's unfair to make a statement like that. But at the moment, that's how I feel they treat it, and so until.
Is it worth having a hypothetical conversation with Frank to see if he would be interested?
I can speak to Frank. I see him quite often.
I can talk to the guy who comes to help us in our garden as well, see if he's interested. He's local.
Yeah. nice to know, because we will have to go out for tender for this. So we're at
Yeah, well,
we will have to do that. So having more than one put in a bid for the, for the work is worthwhile.
Okay, I'll talk to our guy.
I think
Okay.
that why, in a sense, while we're on that, I mean, it has been mentioned to me in the past that the village used to be an awful lot tidier in the past when people used to go. I think they used to have somebody going down the you might call it the gutters or the curbs, clearing away the leaves and the muck, and sort of trimming the verges, you know, and it makes you wonder whether we should be trying to do that to improve the look of the village.
well, that was my thought about having someone more local doing it, and paying them for it. Obviously, it would be done with more care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know whether Frank, though, I mean, I watch him on a regular basis, if you like, towing the mower behind the track on the field opposite us. I mean, it wouldn't be suitable for anything. I mean, I don't know whether he's got small mowers. I don't think he does that sort of work, does he, Sam?
Well,
I don't know. I know he does tractor work.
I've seen small mowers in a trailer that he drives into Marlborough before.
Oh, okay.
As well as, sorry?
He drives that thing miles.
Yeah, I know, it's incredible.
He doesn't have a car license.
Does he not? Well, there you go. All right, sorry for digressing, but it's worth a thought.
I will mention it. I'll send him out next time I see him and see if it's something he might be
Okay.
interested to do.
Just to finish off your expenses, it's been my pay has come out for July and August, and then you've had the Clark expenses and allowance, and one of your expenses was agreed last year to undertake SOCA, so that has been paid for and is now being expensed. So your total output since our last meeting was $2,396.06.
Okay.
That brings us, I did actually sort of make myself a little bit repetitive in the agenda, so my apologies. So D doesn't necessarily apply. C, we're on C though beforehand, which is to the mid-year budget assessment.
How are we doing?
We're doing very well. You'll probably see on the assessment that there's a couple of red areas, but they are nothing to be worried about. Your staffing fees are going to be in the red at the end, but that is due to the fact that one of the months for 2019-20 was paid in this financial year.
Okay.
And then also that there was a pay raise that was agreed quite a long way through the year and had to be back paid, and so hadn't been back paid. So those things are showing up on this financial year, which had not been on the forecast. So they were there, but it just not on this year's budget, which is why it puts it into the red. Pay services, £14 difference. That's just because it's gone up a bit. I need to adjust that properly in the forecast for next year. And insurance went up enough with the new playground that we're £87 potentially out, but we've got enough in contingency to cover that. So it's just about rejigging. There's several different areas we have underspend, and it is just about relooking at the budget as a whole. What I would say to you is we're quite healthy. I would say that actually the council could be looking strategically about more projects and trying to get projects completed before the financial year ends, because
and that's another good reason for let's crack on with the dog bins thing and get that done and just spend it.
Yeah.
And the Christmas tree.
I was just about to say, seeing this reminds me of Christmas tree. So our next meeting won't be until November, by which time it'll be too late to organise a Christmas tree.
I'm emailing. I have emailed, but again, I think we're coming. I don't want to keep using COVID as a reason, but I just think that a lot of firms are not back. A lot of charities and things are not back to normal. I have emailed. It's taken me quite a long time to get through to Astor, and she was waiting for a colleague to come back, and then she hasn't returned my call, and I've emailed repeatedly. So I am still on it, but
Who are you trying to get hold of now? Where are we trying to put it?
well, it's a two-pronged situation. I did contact, and forgive me, I don't have his name in front of me, so I can't remember the chap that is the contact for the green area, where we tried to put it last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to sort of engage with the management group and be a part of like a Zoom call or something, and he wasn't comfortable with that happening at the time that I requested it. And I have not been back in touch with them. Astor, I thought, might have been a better option because it would be outside the village hall, and we would maybe perhaps have a little bit more control over that. But I've emailed a few times. I did have a couple of conversations with her, and we were supposed to have another discussion. So I'm on the chase with her. So that's. I don't necessarily think, in all honesty, I don't necessarily think they find it a big priority. It's just.
I'm sure they don't. I mean, it was Bill. Was it Bill you were trying? Bill, somebody you're trying to.
Yes. Yeah. That's who I was working with before.
He's been trying to move, I think. So his interest will be somewhere else, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. That could have slowed it down, obviously. So I'm still working on it. I'm still trying. I wouldn't discount it, but I wouldn't. That's all.
Can we buy 2 little Christmas trees and strap them to those gates that are going to be white soon, and just put some sparkly lights on them?
Well, there's nothing that would stop us from doing that. You can get solar lights, and they would light up at night. I don't know why that would be a problem, in my view.
Or could we just get solar lights and sort of wrap them around the gates at Christmas?
Yes.
Forget the tree, just decorate the gates
Yeah.
and the entrance to the villages, and just do something a bit Christmassy.
At least it's something, isn't it? Yeah.
Everyone needs a bit of a lift, and if we're all at home this Christmas with the 6 of us, it's just a bit flat, isn't it?
Yeah. No, you're right. No, I think there's quite a lot we could do. Let me. I can price some things out and come back to you, and let you know what they.
I'm very happy to go and wrap some Christmas tree lights around the gate.
I'm really happy to do that as well. Maybe we could do it, yeah. I'm sure it wouldn't cost very much between us all if we anyway.
The children will need something to look at while they're outside and everybody else is inside.
Yeah.
Is there an area by the school that, I mean, I'm sure we would get a more positive reaction from the school if we wanted to put up a tree?
Not really big enough or flat enough to put a tree outside the school, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's all hidden by all the parked cars anyway. No one would see it.
All right, give it. Crazy, isn't it? That we can't. So there's 2 obvious places. I mean, Paul's Meadow really is the obvious one in a sense. But I think there's quite a lot of residents who are still quite positive about that area. But
let's just do something though. Let's just do something fun, even if it's not a tree. Let's just do something.
Or between the bus stop and the village hall, at the end of Lydiard's Green.
Yeah. Well, Sam, you could dress up as Father Christmas, and we can do some kind of thing through the village.
Is that in the job description?
Yeah, definitely.
So so we've got 9E, which is the reconciliations. I have circulated, and I will endeavor to get them signed at the most convenient time when we meet again. But I am happy to take any questions if you've got any. But we should be okay.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
9F.
9F, yes.
This seems a no-brainer to me.
Yes. If you have any questions, do let me know. But
absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I agree. Right. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I regret to say I've not read this. So what's happening?
I was about to say I'm not familiar with that either.
So I have proposed that that Ogbourne St. George move its banking from Lloyd's to Unity Trust Bank. And with Unity Trust Bank, the one thing that is different is that you would be paying Unity Trust £72 per annum to have an account there. However, they are very current in banking regulation. You can set up whoever you would like to. I can set up a payment for you to pay, and I can assign any layer of acknowledgement or of approval, depending on the financial regulations of the council at any time. It is just uncanny, actually, and I have to say, we have used it for our parish village hall here in Polshot. We moved it, and it's been amazing. I have spent probably 6 to 10 hours trying to get mandates that I've been sending you repeatedly since the beginning of the year through with Lloyd's, and they are not changed. And I will hold for close to an hour every time I call, and I can tell you that your annual fee to this company or this banking institution would have been paid for in what you would have paid me already.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Agree.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
so
Great,
I
yeah.
need a first, seconder, and then
I'll approve it at first.
Second.
Would you be able to did you send that report out?
I did. Yes, it's on Box. I can email it, or it's on Box though. It's my report. It's the clerk's report on the banking arrangements.
Did you send a box recently?
The link went up, and I haven't really added anything to it. No.
Where is that inbox?
Under meetings.
It's in the email Elizabeth sent out with the agenda.
There's a link to it that you just click on, and it takes you straight to all the supplemental documentation for the meeting tonight.
I missed that. Sorry.
That's fine.
I've spent quite a lot of time looking for a box and trying to get all the information from the box, and I couldn't find it today.
So the supporting documents folder is empty as far as I see it.
Hang on just a minute. I'm having a look. That should not be the case.
Yeah, that's what I got, Sam.
I put it in the website box, and I sent you all a link to it, which probably doesn't mean much to you. If you'd gone in through the link. So when you go through your own, oh, I see what's happened. So when you go through your own box sign in, which I wasn't certain you guys all had access to from previous input, I set up a different way for you to get in, which is through a link, and I put it into the email when I sent the summons for the agenda. So I will make sure I populate both so that you can see both. I have now.
Please. Okay. Right.
Sorry, I was trying to make it easier, and I've obviously made it harder on people.
If I log into the website, I see all sorts of things. But I was looking, if I go through Box on my computer.
That's exactly what I did, and it said no documents here.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Yeah, that's because I populated the site that actually specifically goes to the link on the website, and I did that because you're also required to, for good practice, to share documents with the public. So if the public sees that, then they know what you're making decisions on. So I gave you a direct link there because Andrew couldn't get into it, and I think Rachel had a hard time at one point, and I was just trying to make it simpler for everyone.
I can weirdly, if I log in to my Box account
It's
on the
not
website, I can see them, but I can't see them through my app.
strange. Okay.
That's right. I
No,
will.
Please, I mean, you know, I'm very happy to accept a nice slap if I need to do something in the meantime, because
Yeah.
but it is, I mean, if you want to defer it because you've not read it, then that's fair enough. I think you need to have an informed decision. I'm just giving you a synopsis and a snapshot of what I feel would be best.
My reaction is the business with the bank has gone on for so long,
Yeah, get out of it.
I don't need to read any more about it. If you think, if you can recommend a bank that where you're getting some good results, then go for it. That would be my reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing to take on board here is that if it doesn't work out for this council and you all find that it's not working, we can move it. So it's not a, it's not a one-time deal.
Okay.
No, let's do it.
Yeah, I still can't see it actually here. I can see some stuff. Oh, we can talk about that later. I'll follow the link you sent and see if I can find it that way. Right. So, anything else? What's next?
We're on 10.
10. Council's complaints policy. Oh, 1 second. Council complaints policy. You sent this around. Yes.
It's quite basic. It's the most basic complaints policy that I've had. But
That sounds good.
Seems very sensible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a look at it. It's fine.
Yeah, looks great.
Yeah.
Good with that.
I'm happy with
Is
that.
it a case of we just need to agree it and implement it?
you need to propose it. and-
Okay,
Yep.
Yeah,
go for it, Sam.
yeah.
Sam, you propose?
Yeah. I propose that. I'm quite happy to do that.
Second.
Thank you.
Number 11.
Number 11, to receive information, correspondence and circulars received. Have we had correspondence?
You've only had the one about the planning white paper,
From Cynthia Gator.
and you'll be getting a few others, but for purposes of this meeting tonight, you've had the white paper that has been released by central government on potential changes to planning.
Yes.
Enough.
Item 12, consider items of maintenance. Graffiti under the bridge. This was nicely covered up by all the signs, the whiteboards during the lockdown.
Are they gone now?
Yeah, they're dipping down. Yeah.
Yeah. But what an amazing thing it was like, it gave so many people so much pleasure. It was fantastic. So
Yeah, it might be worth just putting something in the minutes or the about that, just to say what a great initiative that was by
Megan.
Can we put something in the
Family,
dragon
yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
Can we say a public thank you
Yeah.
to Megan for
Yeah.
organising and how
Yeah,
much
I mean,
we all
like,
loved it?
it
I
really
think it was driven by
amazing.
Natalie as well. But
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Have they been kept or have they been?
I think they've kept them, yeah.
Yeah.
And not only did it give the villagers lots of pleasure and so many positive things, but I think so many people, like non-villagers who drove past, were when I was down times, you see a car drive past and I didn't recognise
Crash
them.
because they were looking at it.
But they looked sort of in awe. They thought it was amazing.
No,
So
definitely worth saying.
It's a really good thing. So.
But to the graffiti, I don't know what we can do about getting rid of that.
That'll be a parish steward issue as well. So
All right. So when we get him, we can ask him to help with that.
Yeah.
Highways should remove it.
And then I know we've all talked about this, but as you said, put it in the maintenance as the other bits. Let's raise that bit about the human waste up at the bus stop and what we can do. Yeah. And Elizabeth, thank you. You've already got the action to have a look and to see what we can do about possibly pulling down that bus stop would be great, and replacing it with a Perspex bus stop. That would solve that problem. Probably the bus people. I really don't know, but I'm guessing the bus people.
Yeah.
Or highways or someone, I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, you'd have to hope that it's going to solve the problem. Right. Hope so.
Or at least reduce it.
Yeah.
Yes, well, if we can speak to buses or highways.
Super.
Find out who owns it.
Yeah.
So is this year worse than normal other years?
Yeah, I think it has been.
Okay.
Sounds like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I bring up one point under other, please,
Yes.
Chair?
Yes.
I sent an email about this today. The A346 slow signs that we've managed to get done.
Yes, beautifully new painted ones.
So the new painted ones are great, and the new signs on that road are great, but I just feel it's lacking some kind of focus on that crossing. And with your approval, I'd like to contact the Ridgeway, the lady in charge of the Ridgeway, and talk to her about maybe approaching Wiltshire Council as a joint thing between us and them to get a big sign saying Ridgeway crossing here.
Yeah, because they have them over at Liddington, don't they? Where the Ridgeway actually runs along the road.
Yeah, exactly. So we did talk to Wiltshire Council about getting one of those put on, and he said no, he couldn't from Wiltshire Council's point of view. But I think if we approach the Ridgeway and see if they could maybe fund it with Wiltshire Council's approval, then it might be worth doing. Because at the moment you drive down, you see the slow sign, and then you kind of think, oh, what am I slowing down for?
Yes.
Yep.
The other thing that is worth mentioning up there, so I'm just looking at the link, is the other thing that was launched a couple of weeks ago was the King Alfred's Way, a 350-kilometre off-road trail around the heart of historic Wessex by Cycling UK have launched it.
Okay.
And that also passes through the village and across that same crossing.
So I could talk to them as well.
Yes. I'm just going to, where's the actual map gone? Let's pull the route. And that comes down from, I'm just trying to zoom in. Well, anyway, but that comes down the same bit and follows the Ridgeway across there.
I'll have a look at it, Sam. I'll have a look, and then I'll contact them at the Ridgeway and get things moving.
I'll send you the link to it.
Thank you.
But yes, that's run by Cycling UK.
Okay. So is everyone happy if I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next item would be
Key messages.
Yep. Which I'm taking away to be a thank you in the Dragon for Megan and Natalie. And if there's any other names that I need to add to that, please can somebody throw me.
You should mention Mike as well.
Yeah,
because obviously. So Megan, Mike, and Natalie.
And not only with the boards, the way they've, tried to keep the pub running, and I think it's been really popular with the village. And
doing the takeaways were good, weren't they?
The takeaways, and they've been really proactive and just trying to really trying to bring the village together. So I think they've been amazing. So
no, it's been really good.
What I'll do is I'll write something, and what I think I'll do is, because I don't live there, I want to make sure that it actually reflects the proper sort of experience that they've given people. I'll circulate that, and then if you guys would make any kind of changes to it, because I want it to be true and really.
Yeah.
The other thing for me was to put in sorry, I made a note, I've lost it, into gosh guys, sorry. I had another note that I needed to do another thing for the Dragon. I'll find it.
You were going to put something about the playground area being done.
The trees. Thank you. Yeah. Well done. Yeah.
And doing something about the whole speeding, looking at the speeding in the village and
and parking.
Speeding and parking.
Parking. Okay.
Are we done for maintenance?
Well, just on other, We haven't really taken the subject of the Belfield forward, Elizabeth. I think you're going to find out the ownership, but I was looking at it the other day. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I'm sure most of you know this, but it's pretty obvious that the boundary of the Belfield. And I was looking at it with another engineer friend of mine. We were both thinking the amount of earth moving required to make that anything like horizontal is just going to be too great. I mean, almost it would have been an ideal playground, but it's restricted, of course, by just that one footpath, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can we ever? Has anyone ever thought about going up? Don't know the name of the road, but the track, if you like, and then having a fence into the farmer's field, and then along the farmer's field, and then back into the Belfield. The lower side.
If you go up the track there, which name I also forget.
Yeah.
That's a private road though. It's not public.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
That
Okay.
would, but if we could negotiate access up it, that would transform the utility of the field.
Yeah.
But I think it's owned jointly by all the households there.
It's a long shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I think probably not a lot we can do with the Belfield, I would say, at the moment.
Sorry, Elizabeth. Yeah.
Well, the only thing that I would like to add to that, and just as to drop a seed to think on until maybe we meet again, is I sat in on a 1 hour chat about trees and the importance of them. That was primarily really sort of geared around being in more of an urban area, but it didn't take away the fact that actually the Woodland Trust has initiatives for obviously rural areas and the importance of trees being put back in. And there is an initiative through the Woodland Trust that could be considered if Ogbourne St. George is interested in actually considering some type of a little miniature forest walk or something through there. It doesn't have to be huge. They can deal in all sorts of sizes. If I did a paper and put it forward, is that something that you all might be interested in considering to look at as an option for a portion of Belfield? Or is that just not in the scope of what you at all have in mind?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's an interesting one, that, because the residents might have something to say about that. Certainly, what's her name? Natalie and
Natalie.
Yeah.
Alistair.
Yeah, who live right beside it. I suspect they might have something to say about that.
Natalie and James. Yeah.
Yes.
It would be
They're very keen
something.
to see it used more. So if we're going to do anything to it, we should do it while we've got people who are keen to have neighbouring it, who are keen for something to happen to it.
Do we know how much the goalposts or the field is used by youngsters?
No,
No idea.
No. No, I mean, that is a thought. Well, let's have a look at it, I suppose, is the answer. If you could put something together easily and we could have a look at.
I mean, I think you would need to do public consultation on it. There's no doubt in my mind for that. But it's just, I just found it interesting. It seems to be in a perfect place in a sense that it could be used as an educational tool for kids. It could be something that could teach nature, to children. And I can send some examples of what I mean by that. But if I put a little something together for you all to just mull around with and think on, and maybe you decide if you'd like to go more widely with it, but it's up to you.
It might be worth like a few of us trying to arrange a time to meet up there and just sort of walk around it, look around it, and like sort of whatever comes to your head, discuss it with the others, and we might come up with some nice ideas. I don't know. possibly.
think that's a brilliant idea, Robbie.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Excuse me off as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's go.
yeah, it's all very well talking about it on Zoom, but you haven't. I don't know. It might be worth a try. Is all I'm saying.
Brilliant idea.
Yep. Excellent.
Okay.
Well,
So we're on 14.
30 key messages.
We've done.
We're done. Next
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah. Next meeting. Yeah.
4th of November in the diary.
Brilliant.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Time to put the tables and chairs away.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Sam, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you. Keep safe, everyone.
You
And
too.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Elizabeth,
Yeah,
the my box has now updated.
it has. Okay.
Yes. Did you just add them to the on the other system?